I was reborn as the vicious female supporting character in a redemption novel. According to the plot, I would torment the male lead relentlessly due to unrequited love, only to be avenged by him in the end, dying without a proper burial. During the darkest 2 years of the male lead Kevin's life, I thoroughly embodied the role of the vicious female supporting character, tormenting him without any moral limits until the Roberts family found him. For the 10 years when my role as the vicious female supporting character wasn't needed, I indulged in a life of debauchery and lived quite lavishly. Lily, Kevin is back. Tisk, I had just ordered 18 bottles of Ace of Spades for 18 male models in a private room at the bar when my childhood friend called with this disappointing news. What's meant to come will come, since the Watson family is going bankrupt tomorrow morning anyway. I waved my hand generously and picked up the tab for the entire venue, sending a bottle of Ace of Spades to every table and every person. Long live Lily. That night, I was the brightest star in the bar, with everyone cheering for me, raising their glasses to toast my generosity. I was drunk beyond recognition. I didn't want to wake up. After gaining self-awareness and realizing I was the vicious female supporting character destined for a tragic end in a redemption novel. I tried to change my fate, yet I never succeeded even once. Every time I attempted to deviate from the plot, I would die horribly, only for time to reset back to the beginning of the story. Unavoidable, unchangeable, I must become that vicious female supporting character who drives Kevin to the dark side. After being reborn 19 times, I've given up. Whatever. So what if I get imprisoned, have iron nails driven through my collarbones, and am chained like a dog in the basement, begging for mercy while unable to live or die? Since the plot insists on making me a stumbling block in Kevin's life, then I'll be the ultimate villainess. After all, he can't kill me. The kind and virtuous female lead won't let him become a murderer because of someone like me. Besides, in this life, I'm not completely unprepared either. Yawning, I woke up in an unfamiliar hotel bed. Just as I stretched, a cup of warm honey lemon water was handed to my lips. I stared at those slender, well-defined pale fingers for quite a while, so delicate and long, beautiful, so beautiful. As an extreme hand fetishist, I couldn't resist touching them. Over the past 10 years, I've touched countless male models' hands, but none felt as good as this pair. Had enough touching, I jerked my hand away as if electrocuted. I looked at the owner of the hand as if seeing a ghost. Kevin, damn it. At that moment, 360 curses flashed through my mind. The gloomy and twisted male lead knelt by the bed, feeding me water. This is so damn terrifying. Are you surprised to see me? At 18, Kevin was full of vigor and unyielding, refusing to bend. At 28, Kevin's gaze was sinister, exuding a wicked aura. I shouldn't have been surprised. Wasn't his return all about seeking revenge on me? But what shocked me was that he didn't immediately throw me into that pitch-black basement. Was I not cruel enough to him in this life? Or did he not turn completely dark? If it's the latter, I'm utterly screwed. Since I became self-aware, I've tried 18 different ways to escape or alter the plot, but not once did I succeed. The plot always forcibly corrects itself. It doesn't allow me even a sliver of hope, much less let Kevin show the slightest mercy toward me. Otherwise, I would die miserably and return to the starting point of the plot. In my previous life, I thought it was the most flawless plan I had ever executed. On the surface, I mocked and belittled him at every turn, oppressing and humiliating him, but in subtle moments, I showed the faintest traces of my limited kindness. Kevin hated me, despised me to the core, and the first thing he did upon returning was to take revenge on me, to avenge me for taking his innocence on the night of my 18th birthday party. He locked me in the basement he had prepared long ago, biting my collarbone fiercely until it bled, yet his hatred remained unquenched. He hated me for making him unable to forget me. He said he would rather I were a thoroughly wicked woman. Damn it, he fell in love with me, yet he loathes this twisted affection. He couldn't bear loving his former tormentor, wanted to kill me, yet couldn't bring himself to do it. The plot that should have featured the female lead was lost because he developed inappropriate feelings for me, and the retribution fell upon me. While Kevin was away, a bolt of lightning struck out of the blue, leaving me charred and tender. The fire caused by the lightning burned me to ashes, and in my last fading moment of consciousness, I saw Kevin rushing toward me desperately, a complete and utter failure. My self-righteous attempt at salvation was utterly crushed under the overwhelming force of the plot. I can't live, not a single bit of life left. The moment I opened my eyes, I was back at 17 again. This time, I finally understood. If I obediently follow the plot and wait for the female lead to complete the male lead's redemption, perhaps there's a slim chance I might survive. Otherwise, I'll only die more horribly each time. So this time, I suppressed all my clever ideas and firmly embedded the role of the villainess into my very bones. I am the arrogant, unreasonable, and domineering young lady of the Watson family. I haughtily, with utter disdain and no sincerity, publicly confessed my feelings to Kevin. Hey, you. Want to be my boyfriend or not? 18-year-old Kevin looked at me as if I were an idiot. No? Great. I got the answer I wanted, and I began to oppress and humiliate him with full justification, forcing him to become my obedient dog. This time, Kevin received no mercy from me. I tormented him mercilessly, even forcing him to grovel before me in public. I trampled on his dignity without restraint, shattering his pride. Finally, he came to loathe me to the core. The day I had him thrown out of the Watson family gates, he lay half dead in the pouring rain, gritting his teeth and swearing he would return alive to take revenge on me. May I die a miserable death. That's right, the more he hates me, the more at ease I feel. I smugly took my new favorite by the hand and walked away right in front of him. 10 years, so long that I almost forgot I was the villainess. Yet the overpowering plot still allowed Kevin to find me effortlessly. Last night, the male model I hooked up with was nowhere to be seen. In the bright room, there were only me and Kevin, a little surprised. To be honest, I thought you were long dead. Didn't expect you to be so tough. Kevin didn't respond to my sarcasm, but his fingers gripping the water glass visibly tightened. I curled my lips and took a sip of lemon water from his hand. Sour, so sour it twisted my facial features. Kevin indifferently set down the water glass and stood up to turn on the morning news on the TV. The Watson family officially declared bankruptcy at 9 o'clock this morning. My face turned deathly pale, feigning extreme surprise and shock at this news I had long known about. Kevin seemed pleased with my reaction. Taking advantage of my dazed astonishment, he bent down and fastened a black dog collar around my neck. His face drew close to my ear, the crisp scent of cedarwood from his body invading my nostrils as his warm breath from thin lips brushed against my earlobe. It sent shivers down my spine. That's my sensitive spot. In my previous life, when Kevin and I were intimate, he accidentally discovered it and took particular delight in teasing me about it. But in this life, although I've bullied him, we've never been intimate. I shot him a surprised sidelong glance. Yet he remained as cold as ever, his slender pale index finger hooking the collar around my neck, forcing me to look up and meet his gaze. Miss Watson, from now on, the game of master and dog has reversed. Every humiliation you once inflicted upon me, I will return to you tenfold. The bankruptcy of the Watson family is just the beginning. As soon as he finished speaking, my phone began to ring. It was a call from my mom. Lily, your dad has been taken away. My eyes instantly reddened as I tried to get out of bed. But the collar around my neck was yanked, sending me tumbling back onto the bed. Kevin, let me go. Come at me if you want. I'm the one who ruined you. My parents never laid a finger on you. I screamed hysterically at Kevin. He held a long chain in his hand, looking down at me with disdain, savoring my panic. Lily Watson, he said, I told you, the game has just begun. If you want me to let you go, you know what to do. Yes, I should know what to do. Wasn't it just like this before? Trapping him, locking him up, making him miss the last chance to see his mother. Now he's going to return every bit of the suffering he endured back to me. But were all those evil deeds I committed truly from my own heart? Haven't I tried to be a good person? Haven't I tried not to interfere with Kevin's life? But what did I get in return? Each death more gruesome than the last. An endless cycle of reincarnation within this plot. Just because the plot chose me to be this villainous, I have to reluctantly do things that disgust me. Now you want me to pay the price and suffer the consequences. Is that fair? Is it fair? 2 seconds later, I lowered my head and let out a cold laugh. I'm the damn villainess, the unrepentant villainess. The plot wants me to wag my tail and beg Kevin like a dog. Dream on. Slap. I slapped Kevin across the face. In the moment of his shock, I kicked him to the ground and, turning the tables, wrapped a long chain around his neck, locking it tightly. You filthy dog, did you really think you could rise above me after disappearing for 10 years and growing some backbone? Kevin, let me tell you, From the day you bowed your head to me, you were destined to be nothing but my dog. Do you know what happens when a dog bites its master? Huh? I tightened the chain. Kevin stared at me in disbelief, a sinister gaze brimming with intense hatred. He gritted his teeth and called my name. Lily Watson. I slapped him again. Call me master. He wanted to resist. As a weak woman, I shouldn't be his match. But some people, after being dogs for too long, lose the ability to resist. Not to mention, this body of his has long been tamed by me, even after 10 years. As long as I touch him, he still has no choice but to obey. That's why he hates me. Hating him has been tempered over 10 years. Yet when he meets me, he still can't shake off the servility I carved into his bones. Lily Watson. I'm going to kill you. I tightened the chain, smirking sinisterly. Disrespecting your master will be punished. You dog slave. Dog slave was the exclusive title I once gave him. From the day he was forced to bow his head and wear the dog collar I gave him, I called him dog slave. Now, hearing this humiliating name again, his eyes reddened with anger. Don't call me that. It's been too long since we last met. Seems you've forgotten the rules. Should I help you remember? I pressed my knee harder against his abdomen. Ugh. He let out a muffled groan, burning with shame. He knows my sensitive spots. But does he think I don't know his weak points? Every inch of him is all too familiar to me. Just then, a sharp doorbell rang out. Kevin was furious. Lily Watson, let go of me. Call me master. The sound of the door lock turning reached my ears, and I deliberately increased the pressure in provocation. Kevin clenched his teeth tightly, refusing to let out another sound that could be misunderstood. Kevin, since when did you become so stubborn? I yanked the chain, forcing him to look up and meet my gaze, afraid of being heard. Let go of me, Lily Watson. I said let go of me. Kevin roared in humiliated fury. He thought he had gained the ability to defy me, so he arrogantly appeared before me with his head held high. He believed he could turn the tables and effortlessly crush me underfoot. But reality delivered a resounding slap to his face. Even after 10 years, even as the all-powerful head of the Roberts family who struck fear into the hearts of others, he still couldn't resist me, not in my presence. The suffering he endured over the past decade, the transformation he thought he had achieved, all turned into a joke at this moment. Such a cruel realization left him utterly defeated. It made him even more furious. The person outside the door, receiving no response for so long, began to suspect something was wrong inside. President Sue, I'm coming in. It was a sweet and lively girl's voice. I leisurely looked at him. From the sound of it, she's a beauty. Kevin's face instantly changed. Lily Watson, you're not allowed to set your sights on her, so protective of her. Huh? I raised an eyebrow. Then wouldn't it be quite embarrassing for her to see you groveling beneath me? Lily Watson, call me master. The sound of the door lock turning echoed, and I lowered my head, boldly leaning in toward Kevin's lips. Click. Master. Kevin reluctantly forced out this humiliating title through gritted teeth, his gaze toward me as if laced with poison. Those sinister eyes were filled with murderous intent. I curled my lips in satisfaction, rising from his body the moment the door was pushed open. Kevin sat up. I kindly removed the chain from his neck and thoughtfully straightened his disheveled shirt collar to cover the marks left by the chain. Finally, I didn't forget to scratch his chin as a reward. Good boy. Kevin wished he could kill me on the spot. You all. The intimate scene between me and Kevin was ultimately witnessed by the white-dressed girl who had just entered through the door. Her almond-shaped eyes, usually as clear as autumn water, now misted over as she stood frozen at the doorway. Her right hand unconsciously tightened around the doorknob, her expression dark as she stared at me crouching on the floor and Kevin sitting beside me. The suggestive posture and the collar around my neck made her imagination run wild. I gave her a smile. Before I could speak, she immediately turned pale and bowed to Kevin in apology. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have disturbed you. With that, she held back her tears and turned to leave, even remembering to close the door gently behind her. Sophia. It's not like that. Kevin was visibly flustered, abruptly pushing me away as he stood up. Kevin, I called out to stop him as he rushed outside. Kevin turned to look at me with a hostile glare. You shouldn't have come back, I said. He didn't understand my meaning, his cold eyes filled with disdain. The Watson family has fallen. You've lost your backing. Do you still think you can do anything to me? Lily Watson, I told you I would return alive to take my revenge. Every ounce of pain you inflicted on me, I'll repay you tenfold. Bang! Kevin slammed the door behind him as he left, his words hanging in the air like a threat. I sat on the floor, idly playing with the chains in my hand. His warning meant nothing to me. What surprised me was that girl, Sophia. She's the female lead. After all, meeting me this early, supposedly, we weren't meant to meet until a year later, when the plot was nearing its conclusion, but now we've met ahead of time. What does this mean? My incessantly vibrating phone interrupted my train of thought. Seeing the caller ID showing it was my mom, I temporarily set aside my investigative thoughts, took off the collar around my neck, grabbed my phone, and hurried to the police station. The Watson family conglomerate has collapsed. All our family's assets were frozen, and my mom and I went to the police station hoping to see my father. However, the police stated that the bankruptcy of the Watson family conglomerate was highly suspicious. Someone had reported that my father had embezzled funds and illegally transferred company assets, and currently, no one was allowed to visit him. My mom was pacing anxiously. Lily, if anything happens to your dad, I won't live either. I hugged my mom's shoulder. Mom, don't panic yet. Let me make a phone call. Who else can you call? I've contacted everyone we could, but no one dares to speak up for our family now. My mom sobbed uncontrollably. A friend might be able to help, I said casually. My mother was incredulous, her voice rising 3 pitches with a sob. You have reliable friends. I admit, over the past 10 years, I've appeared to be idle, only knowing how to spend money. In my mother's eyes, all the friends I've made were just fair-weather companions eyeing my wealth. But that was just the surface. According to the plot, the Watson family's bankruptcy was an inevitable event. There was no escaping it, so I had long since found a powerful backer for our family. Though my mother didn't know about it yet, whether it works or not, we have to try, I reassured my mother before stepping outside the police station to make a phone call. Soon, the police chief personally escorted my father out, cheerfully shaking his hand as they parted. Mr. Watson, a misunderstanding. It was all a misunderstanding. Feel free to drop by for tea and a chat anytime. My father forced a smile. I'd rather not. Next time, Chief, come to my place, and I'll treat you to tea. My mom was shocked. Lily, is your friend really that reliable? I smiled slightly. Not bad. My mom didn't think much of it. When my dad walked over, she immediately went up to him, asking all sorts of questions. Seeing that not a single hair on my dad's head was harmed, she finally let out a sigh of relief, but still couldn't resist giving him a punch. Look at you, smooth-talking your whole life. And now you had to go and provoke the Roberts family for no reason. Now we've lost our home, our money, and our family of 3 is going to be sleeping on the streets. My dad glanced at me. I guiltily rubbed the tip of my nose. Just then, a white-plated car arrived outside the police station and invited our family to get in. The police officer following behind the police chief looked extremely displeased as he watched our family of 3 leave unharmed. Chief, are we just letting him go like this? The chief patted his shoulder reassuringly. There's no need to investigate this case any further. Why, the Watson family group was such a massive corporation, and it went bankrupt just like that, without any warning. There must be something fishy going on here. The chief fell silent for a moment before revealing an internal piece of information. At 11:30 last night, David Watson voluntarily donated all assets of the Watson family group and the Watson family to the state, free of charge. What? The officer couldn't believe it. The chief sighed. The document was signed at 11:20 and took effect 10 minutes later. You should understand. This case ends here. Don't dig any deeper. My father confiscated all the assets of the Watson family. Bet you didn't see that coming, did you? My father, a complete doting dad, heard from a fortune teller that I would face a major calamity at the age of 27, and only by giving away all his wealth could he resolve my fate. He believed it. I casually suggested, why not donate it to the country, whose legs are thicker than the nation's, spending money to ensure safety. With the country's protection, would he still fear I couldn't overcome the calamity? My dad thought about it and realized I made a good point. He immediately used his connections to find trustworthy people and donated the Watson family's tens of billions in assets. Oh my, the Watson family's money. The Roberts family won't get a single penny. I stretched lazily in the car. So satisfying, Mr. Watson. As per our previous agreement, we have prepared a safe residence for you. For the next 10 years, our team will ensure the safety and daily needs of you and your wife. Should either of you fall ill, dedicated funds and personnel will be allocated for your care. As for Miss Lily, once she settles her personal matters, she can report to our department at any time." My father nodded, expressing gratitude for the state's arrangements. I chimed in agreement beside him. It was only then that my mother found out that my father and I had secretly donated all the family assets behind her back. She was initially furious, but upon hearing that I could still join the civil service, her expression turned to concern. "Other than spending money, do you even have any other skills?" Hearing this, the person in charge of receiving US couldn't help but chuckle. He adjusted his glasses and said, "Mrs. Watson, you're underestimating your daughter. She speaks 16 languages, is proficient in drone operating systems, and is an excellent paratrooper and pilot. A talent like her is exactly what we're looking for." My mother was stunned. "Are you talking about my daughter, that good-for-nothing Lily Watson who never studied, spent her days playing with cats and dogs, and only knew how to spend money while running around with a bunch of troublemakers? That's just Miss Lily's disguise. Her abilities have already passed our department's professional assessment and certification. Has her character been evaluated too? A true mother, absolutely a true mother." My father gave a bitter laugh and defended me. "Honey, our daughter isn't as bad as you think." My mother's expression was quite subtle. I knew what she was thinking of. Back when I kept Kevin by my side, bossing him around and scolding or hitting him at the slightest provocation, she happened to witness it and severely criticized me, even offering Kevin a large sum of compensation for emotional distress. But under my coercion, Kevin didn't accept it. Later, because of my interference, Kevin couldn't see his mother one last time. It was my mom who, upon hearing the news, personally arranged the funeral for Kevin's mother. She even dragged me to kneel and apologize at her grave, forcing me to swear I would never bully Kevin again. But I remained unrepentant. Not only did I refuse to swear, but I also turned around and humiliated Kevin even more. At my 18th birthday party, I whipped him and forced him to bark like a dog. When my mom saw it that day, she was so furious she snatched the whip and tried to hit me. But I still arrogantly said, "Mom, people like him are born to be my slaves. Making him act like a dog is doing him a favor." My mother was so furious that she threatened to send me to jail, but my father stopped her. The birthday party ended in discord, and I had Kevin thrown out into the pouring rain. The Roberts family happened to rescue him when he was on the verge of death. From then on, my mother decided I was beyond redemption and gave me the cold shoulder for 10 years. If it weren't for my father's accident this time, she wouldn't have even called me. For a moment, she truly couldn't accept that the daughter she had long given up on had another side to her. Even more unbelievable was that I had such foresight, anticipating the Roberts family's move against us and laying plans in advance. Every grievance has its cause, every debt its debtor. The debts you owe will eventually be repaid. My mother said with a face full of sorrow, "You can hide for a while, but not forever." I never intended to hide in the first place. The plot believes this world is a book. It is the master, and no one can escape its settings. But to me, every life I've lived is a real, existing world. The air I breathe, the fragrance of flowers I smell, the food I've tasted, including every person I've encountered. My parents, friends, each one is undeniably real. I couldn't convince myself to be just a supporting character in someone else's story. Nor could I accept becoming a puppet of the plot, mindlessly following the path it had set for me. I'd been trying to resist all along. In this life, clinging to the nation's coattails is my last rational attempt. According to the original plot, Kevin would use the news of my father's imprisonment and my mother's critical illness to coerce and entice me into submission at his feet. And now, my parents are no longer my weakness. How will the plot unfold? I'm very curious. After settling my parents, I pretended to seek help from various people for several days, begging them to help get my father out. Without exception, I was repeatedly turned away due to the Watson family's bankruptcy. My childhood friend tried to climb over the wall to see me, but his dad broke his leg. "Lily, don't worry, I'll definitely come find you." Even with a broken leg, he's still thinking of me. Focus on recovering. I don't like cripples. As the most loyal henchman of the villainous, Lin Chen seemed to lack a screw in his head, always standing unconditionally by my side. Even when I was killed, it was he who came to collect my body. watching Lin Chen being dragged away by the Lin family's bodyguards. Grimacing in pain, I turned and left the luxury villa district where I had lived since childhood. The weather turned bad, and halfway through my walk, dark clouds gathered, unleashing a torrential downpour. Thunder rumbled intermittently. It was still afternoon. Yet the sky was so shrouded in dark clouds that not a single ray of light could be seen. The rain was heavier than the day I threw Kevin out of the villa. Bean-sized raindrops pelted my face, making me look more wretched than ever before. Just at that moment, a car drove past, splashing water all over me with a loud splash. I staggered and collapsed by the roadside, like a discarded doll. Yet the car that had driven away turned around after a bend and came back, stopping right in front of me. The car's hazard lights flickered dimly in the rainy mist, the downpour blurring my vision as I uncomfortably closed my eyes. A pair of polished deerskin shoes stepped out from the driver's seat, halting before me as they splashed through the drizzling rain. The strong light was blocked, and I looked up to see Kevin's indifferent face. The black umbrella obscured his expression, while the hazard lights rhythmically cast his silhouette over me. He slightly lifted the umbrella, looking down at my wretched state with disdain, sneering, "Even the esteemed Miss Lily has fallen to such a state. How rare." My clothes were soaked with rain, heavy and cumbersome. As I staggered to my feet, under the black umbrella, I looked up at him and saw my pale face reflected in his eyes, along with the hidden excitement and triumph within them. I gritted my teeth and punched him in the stomach. Ugh! Kevin doubled over in pain. I hooked my arm around his neck, leaned close to his ear, and whispered hoarsely, "Disrespecting your master will cost you, dog." Those words successfully enraged Kevin. The hidden hatred in his heart shattered all barriers in an instant, his sinister eyes turning blood-red in a flash. Like a beast gone berserk, he grabbed my throat with a backhanded grip. "Lily Watson, you're asking for death. Do you still think you're the lofty Miss Lily? You've lost everything now. If I want, I could strangle you anytime." My throat tightened bit by bit, cutting off the last traces of air in my chest. Instinctively, I began to struggle for survival, and Kevin's grip grew tighter. "Beg me. If you beg for mercy, I'll spare your life." Kevin leaned close to my ear, his cold lips brushing against my earlobe as he whispered in a low voice. My consciousness started to fade, and I accidentally knocked the umbrella out of Kevin's hand. Suddenly, a pair of headlights flashed over. "Kevin, stop!" At the very moment I was about to suffocate to death, a pink car rushed over. The girl in the driver's seat stumbled out and ran toward Kevin and me, desperately trying to pry his hands off my neck. I collapsed weakly to the ground, gasping for air, but coughed uncontrollably from breathing too rapidly. Sophia tightly hugged the unwilling Kevin, urgently trying to calm his emotions. "Jingyan, she's deliberately provoking you. She wants to ruin you. Calm down, calm down, okay." In her arms, the beast gradually settled down. The female lead lives up to her reputation. Before choking into unconsciousness, I let out a relieved laugh. When I woke up again, I was in the basement of Kevin's villa, and 4 drip in my left hand, an iron chain shackling my right, oh, and my feet too. Better late than never. Exhausted, I twisted my body slightly, the clinking of chains drawing the attention of the figure sitting in the shadows. The basement was pitch dark, with only a small spotlight shining directly above my head. By that faint light, I could barely make out the silhouette of the person sitting in the corner. "What a pity, you almost had me die by your hand," I sneered, my voice hoarse and my throat aching as if run over by a wheel. Kevin shrank into the darkness, like a beast barely restraining itself. "You're just tough to kill." His tone was eerily calm. I remembered what I had said to him that day in the hotel. My hair was dry, and the wet clothes on my body had been changed into a white ankle-length nightgown, just like the dress from my previous life. I was dazed for a couple of seconds. "So, how do you plan to take revenge on me?" "I've told you, I'll pay you back double for what you did to me." Kevin paused for a second. "With Sophia gone, no one will save you now." I turned my head, using the light above to look at the figure in the shadows. "Kevin, I never took care of you when you were sick." I couldn't see Kevin's expression, but I heard his suddenly rapid breathing, as if he was furious. The next second, he rushed over and roughly pulled out the 4-needle from the back of my hand. I hissed in pain. Kevin snorted coldly, turned and left the basement, not forgetting to turn off the only light source above me. The basement plunged into complete darkness. Kevin starved me for 3 days, just like when I used to lock him in the basement to tame him. No light, no food, no human contact, but I know he must be watching me from somewhere. The chains restrict my movement, confining me to a 1-meter radius around the bed. When I no longer have the strength to walk, I turn toward the camera's direction and flash a defiant smile. Kevin, I'm hungry. The basement fell silent for a few seconds. Beg me. I tilted my head slightly and shook the chain in my hand, wrapping it around my neck, loop after loop. As I gradually tightened the chain toward the direction of the camera, the basement door was kicked open. Kevin stormed in angrily, yanking me up from the bedside. Lily Watson, is it really that hard for you to beg me just once? He loses his temper too easily. No improvement at all. I was too weak from hunger to even kill myself, but he clearly hadn't considered that. I let him drag me along limply, still managing to sound haughty despite my frailty. Have you ever heard a saying? What saying? Kevin asked angrily. Different monkeys, different leashes. I licked my parched lips. I'm a cat. You'll never tame me using dog training methods. Understand? Kevin's gaze instantly changed. That incredulous expression made me laugh. Go learn how to raise a cat, President Kevin. He threw me back onto the bed, tossed me a cold piece of bread and some water, then strode away. I was locked up for a few more days, but at least I was fed daily. The food wasn't much, 2 pieces of bread and a bottle of water a day, enough to keep me from starving, but not enough to feel full. I want to take a shower, Kevin, I said to the camera. That day, someone took me out of the basement, but it wasn't Kevin. Miss Lily, I'm Sophia, the female lead. Having stayed in the darkness for too long, the sudden exposure to light caused a temporary blindness in my eyes. I turned towards Sophia's voice, but all I could see was pitch black. Unaware of my condition, she simply thought I was too weak. She helped me to the bathroom, ran water for me to bathe, and changed me into clean clothes from head to toe. Sophia prepared a meal and led me to the table. Though the enticing aroma filled the air, I remained motionless. Sophia sat down across from me and served me some food. Miss Lily, though it may be presumptuous, I'd like to have a chat with you. I blinked and curled my lips into a smile. About what? Sophia fell silent for a moment, then put down her chopsticks and said, I study psychology. Mr. Kevin is the subject of my research. I've known him for 2 years and am aware that he has a psychological burden. She paused, but I didn't respond. She continued, what Miss Lily did to Mr. Kevin in her youth left him with an indelible shadow. Psychology suggests that simply avoiding the problem won't solve it. So I encouraged him to return and face you, to confront his pain. I believe that by allowing him to vent the hatred in his heart, his psychological condition can be cured. I let out a curious hum. I hope you can cooperate with me in Mr. Kevin's treatment. In return, I will rescue your father and arrange a safe place for you both to live, ensuring Mr. Kevin can never find you again. For example, put aside your pride, cater to his emotional outburst, and yield to him. I picked up my chopsticks, sniffed the aroma, then picked up some food from the bowl and took a bite. It tasted good, though slightly bland. Sophia served me another portion and assured me, Miss Lily, you just need to cooperate. If he goes too far, I'll step in to stop him. I didn't respond, eating bite by bite while Sophia kept serving me dishes and pouring soup. When I was full, I elegantly wiped my mouth and asked, Miss Sophia, is your relationship with him merely that of a doctor and patient? Sophia froze for a moment. I smiled and said, Miss Sophia, you should experience his skills in bed first, then decide whether this man is worth saving. Bang! As soon as I finished speaking, the study door suddenly swung open, and Kevin rushed over in a few strides. Lily Watson, you're asking for death. Sophia hurriedly stood up to block the enraged Kevin. I remained seated firmly in my chair, following the sound of his voice, and taunted, Kevin, what else can you do besides making empty threats? Don't you want to kill me? Why don't you act on it? If you let me live, don't expect me to bow to you. For your entire life, you'll only be fit to be my slave. Kevin was probably furious, his eyes red with anger as he shook off Sophia, who was desperately trying to hold him back. He grabbed my wrist and dragged me outside without a word, shoving me into the passenger seat. After roughly fastening the seatbelt, he drove me away from the villa. The car sped along so fast that I couldn't tell where he was taking me. Only after a long time did I catch the salty tang of seawater and hear the howling ocean wind. Dressed thinly and barefoot, I was forcibly dragged out of the car by Kevin, stumbling over the gravel path. Shivering in the sea breeze, "Kevin, where are you taking me? What are you doing?" My voice trembled with panic, my gaze lost and confused. Unfortunately, I tripped over an unknown step and fell hard to the ground. A sharp pain shot through my knee. Only then did Kevin turn to look at me. He noticed. I felt him crouch down, and I turned my head away in panic, only for him to grab my chin and force it back. Even without seeing it, I could feel the intensity of his gaze. He stared into my eyes. "Are you blind?" I pressed my lips together, a look of shame and indignation appearing on my face for the first time. "So what if I am? Do you think I'll back down?" Kevin suddenly burst into laughter. "Lily Watson, why don't you take a look at yourself right now, right? I can't be the only one seeing this." Kevin took out his phone, snapped a photo of my disheveled state, and posted it in the high school group chat. "They should see this too. How the once adored Miss Lily, who never spared a glance for anyone, has fallen so low." "Kevin, where are you? What have you done to Lily Watson?" Kevin played Lin Chen's voice message for me. He was so anxious he almost jumped up, then sent several more voice messages. "You bastard, come at me if you dare. What kind of man hits a woman? It was me who egged Lily Watson on to mess with you back then. You idiot, can't even target the right person for revenge. Got something wrong with your eyes." Kevin played every single one for me. The more I listened, the more I couldn't help but curse Lin Chen for being such an idiot. In the original plot, I was the mastermind behind everything, and every person who acted on my behalf faced Kevin's retaliation. I ended up dying the most gruesome death of all. Even if Kevin didn't lift a finger himself, he was already in a position of power. With countless people eager to win his favor, plenty were willing to deal with me on his behalf. And in the original storyline, Lin Chen didn't fare any better either. But throughout these lifetimes, I've taken full responsibility for all the humiliations inflicted upon Kevin, never allowing those around me to intervene. After repeated trials, I successfully isolated them all, ensuring Kevin's hatred focused solely on me. Kevin despises me, yet never spares a glance for those by my side. Even if he wanted to take the blame for me, Kevin wouldn't even acknowledge him. "Kevin, if you dare lay a finger on Lily Watson, I'll make you pay with your life." What a loyal dog. Even when everyone has turned against you, he still cares so much. "Does he have feelings for you?" Kevin said disdainfully, his well-defined fingers gripping my chin as his eyes scanned my face. "Someone like you, do you even deserve to be loved?" As he spoke, he leaned close to my ear, his cold breath brushing against it. "If he knew you'd been with me, what do you think he'd do?" This was a plotline that hadn't occurred in any of the previous 16 lifetimes. Even in the last life, it was I who had forced him, and only later did he demand it from me in retaliation. But in this life, I hadn't even touched him. "Kevin, stop being crazy. Crazy, you drove me crazy long ago. Lily Watson, you drove me insane long ago." Kevin bit my earlobe hard. The blood that flowed out was warm, but my heart grew colder and colder. Yes, who doesn't go crazy sometimes? I once tried to stay sane, but under the repeated manipulation of the plot, I lost my initial resolve and the kindness in my heart. To survive, I was gradually tamed by the plot, step by step, into a perfect villainess. I vented all the resentment accumulated over 19 lifetimes onto Kevin in this life. Why can I be so reckless? Because I know he's the male lead, and the female lead will come to redeem him. But who will save me? I'm just a tainted, detestable villainess. The pitch-black world suddenly lit up with a glimmer of light, and I saw the swaying shadows of trees and the azure sky. I also caught sight of the vast sea not far away, when Kevin pushed me onto the grass, and as Sophia frantically chased after him, shouting his name in panic, I shoved him away and ran toward the cliff's edge. The sea breeze lifted the hem of my white dress, and my disheveled long hair tangled wildly across my face. Blood blooms with every step on the path. The iron chains around my wrists clanking heavily, yet not even the wind can stop me. I face the sea and leap into its depths. "Lily Watson, no!" Behind came Kevin's panicked voice, mixed with Sophia's exclamation, but everything was quickly scattered by the wind and diluted by the sea. Since death is inevitable, why not choose my own way to die? Extra chapter. On the cliff, Kevin rushed to the edge, his eyes bloodshot. staring in disbelief at Lily Watson falling into the sea. And without a second thought, he jumped after her. Sophia didn't even manage to grab the hem of his clothes. Kevin, watching Kevin chase into the sea, Sophia turned pale with shock. Oh no, is Kevin going to die again? Don't worry, host, the male lead won't die this time. Didn't he run into a fire and die in the previous life? Back then, you also said he wouldn't die, host, rest assured. The system has not detected any romantic interest from the male lead toward Lily Watson. The plot will not deviate. You only need to rescue the male lead and marry him to complete the mission and receive your reward. Sophia muttered a few words. I'll trust you one last time. I've tried to win him over 18 times already. If I fail again this time, I'll really have no chance left. Host, rest assured. The villainess's malicious corruption level has reached 100%. And her will to survive is at 0. She will no longer interfere with your mission. Sophia nodded and made a call to have her bodyguards come to retrieve the person. Kevin is truly not dead. As for Lily Watson, her fate remains unknown. After nearly half a month of search efforts along the coastline, only the torn half of the white dress she wore when she jumped into the sea was recovered, the tear appearing as if bitten by fish. Truly a death without even a grave to rest in. Host, rest assured. The ending set by the system's powerful configuration cannot possibly be wrong. Sophia remained non-committal about this. As the villainess, she was destined for a bad ending. The man on the hospital bed had just woken up. After jumping into the sea, it seemed as if he had become a different person, his gaze clear, the hatred in his eyes completely gone, with not a trace of malice left. Mr. Kevin, do you still recognize me? Sophia set aside her thoughts and tentatively asked. Kevin gazed at her calmly, as if confirming something. Is there something on my face? Sophia felt inexplicably uneasy under his stare. The man on the hospital bed shook his head, a smile spreading across his composed face. Dr. Sophia, you've saved me again. 2 years ago, when Kevin seized power in the Roberts family, he nearly lost his life, and it was Sophia who saved him. A young girl in a white dress burst into his dark world, never leaving his side, eyes flickering. Kevin took Sophia's hand. Miss Sophia, will you marry me? Sophia's face lit up with joy as she nodded shyly. Sophia married Kevin as promised. At the moment they exchanged rings and embraced as newlyweds, the system announced the completion of her mission, instantly disbursed the reward, and then detached itself. After being with the system for so long, Sophia felt a bit unaccustomed to its sudden silence. On her wedding night, she sat absent-mindedly at the dressing table, gazing at her meticulously adorned reflection in the mirror. As she noticed the extra 10 billion in her account, her mood gradually brightened. She considered herself fortunate. Not only was she chosen by the system, but she also happened to draw the easiest redemption novel male lead to conquer, with barely any emotional investment. Just by staying by his side and marrying him, she had transformed from an obscure nobody into the wife of the Roberts Group's CEO, now holding 10 billion in cash. How fortunate. Sophia was very happy. She put down her phone and prepared for her wedding night. But that night, Kevin never showed up. She made numerous calls, but Kevin didn't answer a single one. The servants in the villa knew nothing about his whereabouts. Sophia felt a vague unease and couldn't sleep all night. When morning finally came, she planned to go to the company to find Kevin, but before she could leave, several police cars pulled into the villa. Ms. Sophia, you are suspected of involvement in a financial fraud case. Please come with us. What financial fraud? What nonsense are you talking about? Sophia's face turned pale instantly. The officer showed her a sudden deposit of 10 billion in her account and asked sternly, can you provide the exact source of these funds? Sophia choked for a moment, then blurted out in panic, my husband gave it to me. So what? I'm Mrs. Sue. What's wrong with having 10 billion? Is that so strange? Hearing this, the officer's expression turned serious. The person who filed the report is your husband, Kevin. What? Sophia was stunned. When she was brought to the police station, she saw Kevin sitting on the other side of the hallway. He looked at her expressionlessly, as if she were a stranger. Sophia, however, ignored his odd behavior and rushed forward anxiously, saying, honey, please explain to the police. I didn't scam you out of your money. I'm not a fraud, faking your education, faking your identity, deliberately getting close to me. Your account suddenly gained 10 billion, while mine lost 10 billion. If that's not fraud, what is? Kevin said coldly, his eyes dark with hatred, as if he wanted to tear Sophia apart. Sophia froze in place, bewildered by the hatred in his gaze. Kevin shook off her hand, turned, and walked toward another open room, saying, I want to turn myself in. The officer on duty looked astonished. Mr. Kevin, what have you done? Imprisonment, abuse, resulting in someone's death. Who was the victim? Lily Watson, the only daughter of the recently bankrupt Watson Family Group's chairman, Kevin said calmly, his eyes filled with deep regret and heartache. The reception officer entered the information into the computer but discovered an anomaly during the case filing. Mr. Kevin, are you certain the victim's identity is correct? Confirmed, the officer frowned. I'm sorry, Mr. Kevin, but this self-reported case cannot be filed. Kevin abruptly raised his gaze. According to the system records, the Watson couple does not have a daughter named Lily Watson. Kevin's face showed suspicion. What do you mean? It means there has never been a record of a woman named Lily Watson in our system. Kevin's heart suddenly trembled. What nonsense are you talking about, Mr. Kevin? I'm not talking nonsense. If that MS, Lily Watson is someone you've imagined, we can't file a case. After leaving the police station, Kevin still didn't understand what the officer meant. He pulled out his phone and suddenly realized that Lily Watson's contact information and social media accounts had disappeared without a trace. He searched through all his lists and asked everyone who had any connection with the two of them, but no one had any information about Lily Watson. Impossible. How is this possible? Lily Watson was a real, tangible person. How could she just be someone he imagined? Kevin exhausted every means to prove Lily Watson's existence, yet no one would acknowledge it. Even Lin Chen looked at him as if he were a fool. Have you lost your mind? The Watson family never had any children. Where would a daughter come from? The name Lily Watson was utterly unfamiliar to him. Even the photos Kevin had sent Lin Chen the day Lily Watson jumped into the sea had vanished without a trace. Suddenly, Kevin found himself plunged into a bewildering and anxious darkness. He locked himself in the basement of the villa, lying on the small bed where Lily Watson had once lain. The iron chains on the bedhead still lay there quietly. And the camera in the corner of the room silently glowed with a red light. The camera. Kevin abruptly got up and went to the study to check the surveillance footage, but the screen was completely blank. There was never a figure of Lily Watson, as if everything was just his fantasy. Kevin stood at the cliff where Lily Watson had fallen into the sea, looking down at the turbulent waves. Recalling the scene when he jumped into the sea that day, in the seawater, he saw Lily Watson. She dragged the long iron chain and swam toward the sea, while he desperately chased after her. But Lily Watson seemed to have seen him and swam even faster. Despite her injuries and exhaustion, she still swam swiftly, so fast that when a wave crashed over, Kevin lost sight of her completely. Exhausted, he floated on the sea until Sophia arrived with help and pulled him out. The search team only found a torn piece of skirt in that area of the sea, which had fallen from Lily Watson's white dress. Sophia told him that Lily Watson had perished, with no remains left. Kevin refused to believe it, refused to believe Lily Watson was dead, and even more so that she had never existed. He went to see Sophia, who had been sentenced to life imprisonment. The latter frowned upon hearing his question. Isn't Lily Watson dead? With a twitch at the corner of his eye, Kevin burst into laughter. That woman, who had insulted him to the extreme and refused to bow her head to him even after losing all her support, did exist. Then why did those who were once close to her deny her existence? Mr. Kevin, is it possible that someone deliberately erased Miss Lily's traces? The assistant's words suddenly enlightened Kevin. The Watson family has already gone bankrupt. If Lily Watson is already dead, what's the point of erasing her existence, unless she's still alive? Kevin spent many years and tried countless methods, nearly exhausting his wealth, until finally, 5 years later, he caught a faint trace of news related to Lily Watson. That day, he was blindfolded and taken in a fully enclosed vehicle to a hidden, unknown location. The person who brought him left him in a reception room with walls on all sides. He sat rigidly on the sofa, his fists clenched tightly in tension. After what felt like an eternity, the sound of a door opening reached his ears. It was very faint, but he heard it. Cold fingertips lifted the blindfold from his face. And the visage he had longed for day and night suddenly appeared before him. breathing, with a cold and aloof expression, looking down from above. After a long gaze, Kevin forced a stiff smile and greeted in a hoarse voice, "Lily, long time no see." Before coming, Lily Watson had already heard about Kevin from her colleagues. She was quite surprised that Kevin had sent Sophia to prison the very next day after marrying her. Moreover, he spared no effort in searching for her for 5 years. Upon meeting, he called her Lily right away. Wasn't that a bit too intimate? Lily Watson fell silent for a moment, then lifted his chin to scrutinize his expression closely. Reborn. Hearing this, Kevin's dark, ink-like eyes suddenly reddened, glistening with unshed tears. Yes, when Lily Watson was calmer than him, Kevin greedily savored the cool temperature of her fingertips. "The day you asked me if I would be your boyfriend, that early." Remembering the humiliation she had inflicted on him during those 2 years, the lemonade on the day they met again after 10 years, and the imprisonment after being locked in the basement, so different from the previous 18 lifetimes, Lily Watson felt a bit dazed. "So, you already know you're the male lead in a redemption story." Lily Watson instantly felt as if facing a formidable enemy. Logically speaking, the plot should have ended after their marriage. And she had successfully deceived the storyline with her fake death. Now, she was free from the control of the plot, yet, Kevin still found her. He also told her that he had been reborn as well. She withdrew her hand and sat down opposite Kevin, maintaining a safe distance. "Lily Watson is already dead in your storyline. Why are you looking for me to propose?" Kevin slid down from the sofa and knelt on one knee before Lily Watson, pulling out the engagement ring he had prepared from his pocket. "Didn't we agree that I would be your slave for life, master?" Lily Watson was driven mad by the plot, and Kevin was driven mad by her as well. A madman fell in love with a madwoman. Kevin learned early on that he was the male lead in a redemption story. Whenever the plot deviated or Lily Watson met a tragic end by accident, he could always revisit everything in a void-like space. In the first life, Lily Watson confessed her love to him. He agreed, but the next day, Lily Watson died unexpectedly. In the second life, Lily Watson treated him as a stranger and never confessed her feelings, yet she still died. In the third life, Lily Watson confessed to him again, learning from the first life's lesson. He rejected her. She turned and left without causing him any trouble, but the next day, she died once more. By the 18th life, she confessed. He rejected, she tormented him, and he hated her. He hated her for abandoning him, hated her for flaunting her new favorite in front of him. The love that stemmed from extreme hatred made him unable to bear her death, so he could only keep her confined by his side, yet she still died, because he didn't follow the plot to meet the female lead or accept her advances. Only after reviewing all 18 lifetimes of experiences did Kevin reincarnate into this life. He concealed his hidden love for Lily Watson, displaying disgust and resentment toward her, just as the plot demanded. Accepting the female lead's approach and following her suggestion to return for revenge against Lily Watson, yet, in the end, he couldn't bring himself to pierce through her collarbones as he had done unknowingly before, subjecting her to endless suffering. In many lifetimes, Lily Watson had tried to show him kindness, seeking a way to survive, but her kindness only hastened her death, and his moment of softness would, in the same way, bring about her demise. No one knew how much Kevin resented that damned forced plot. The person he deeply loved was right in front of him, yet he couldn't express his feelings and had to keep deceiving himself to play along. The moment Lily Watson jumped into the sea, he could no longer keep up the act. A person with such a strong will to live had been driven to contemplate death by him. The fear of failing to save her in his past life made Kevin jump into the sea without hesitation, watching her swim farther away. Kevin suddenly gave up the chase. In that moment, he understood something. It was Lily Watson saving herself. It was her self-rescue against the plot. He shouldn't have stopped her. After Sophia rescued him, Kevin lay on the hospital bed and overheard the conversation between Sophia and the entity called System, learning the whole truth. Ridiculous. How laughable. He was never the male lead of any redemption story, even without Lily Watson's oppression towards him. He would have returned to the Roberts family and risen to the position of power through his own abilities, yet, his fate caught the attention of that System, which meticulously crafted a script for him, selecting Lily Watson as the villainess to leave him with indelible psychological scars. Then, Sophia would appear as the heroine to save him, warm his heart, pull him back from the brink of crime, make him fall in love with her, and ultimately lead him to the altar. The moment he married Sophia, the system harvested his fate and left this world, thoroughly satisfied. Sophia's account was credited with 10 billion, and she, too, was thoroughly satisfied. What about Lily Watson? Her fate remains unknown. That kind-hearted girl was forced by the system to gradually extinguish her own conscience, becoming a perfectly qualified villainess. Yet originally, she was a radiant dawn that inspired longing. The plot concluded, the system fled, and the narrative force binding Kevin completely vanished. Even after he sent Sophia to prison, that system never appeared again. At that moment, he understood, this world had returned to its normal order. The one he loved deserved redemption as well. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My voice was replaced by dark magic. When I went on stage to accept the award, my speech turned into soft moans. That day, I became a laughingstock and trended online. Did this rookie award come from sleeping with the judges, breathing heavily right on stage? Who knows how wild they are in private? The overwhelming flood of insults left me at a loss, and the company went live to make me explain. I wanted to explain, but the moment I opened my mouth, it was nothing but foul language. Getting the live stream shut down immediately, the boss terminated my contract on the spot and demanded I pay 8 million in breach penalties. I had an emotional breakdown and dropped dead on the spot. After my death, my soul lingered, and at my funeral, I saw the truth. At the funeral, after the guests had left one by one, my assistant Fong Fong and my stepmother Jiang Xin locked eyes, then burst into secret delight. Mom, this master is truly amazing. He effortlessly helped us get rid of Chu Chu. Now I'm Dad's only bloodline, which means I'm the sole heir of the Chu family. I froze for a moment. What's the deal with this master? When Jiang Xin married my dad, she said she couldn't have children and would treat me as her own daughter. Jiang Fongfang was strongly recommended by my dad to be my assistant. He said she was the daughter of his business partner, with a great personality and a strong admiration for me. But who would have thought that Jiang Fongfang was actually the illegitimate daughter of Jiang Xin and my dad? Mom, I want to be an actress too. With the master's help, I'm sure I'll keep winning all the way. Fongfang, you need to be careful. The master specifically warned that after drinking the water, the voice exchange will only last for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, it will stop working. Don't worry, I've got experience now. At that moment, it finally dawned on me. It turned out they had used some dark magic to swap my voice with Jiang Fangfang's. My soul was dissipating bit by bit, and both our voices were growing fainter. I refused to accept this. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the moment before stepping onto the stage at the award ceremony. The dazzling stage, the brilliant lights, dressed in an exquisite gown. I sat backstage waiting for my turn. As a rookie actress, I starred in 3 dramas this year, one of which was nominated for the Best New Actress Award. Choo choo, don't worry, the Best New Actress Award is definitely yours. Your acting is the best among all the nominated actors. Choo choo, the announcement is about to begin. Maybe you should drink some water to calm your nerves. Jiang Fangfang flattered me while handing me the water. Looking at the water in her hand, I immediately refused. Recalling the conversation I overheard between her and Jiang Xin in my previous life as a wandering spirit, I'm not thirsty. Jiang Fangfang's expression stiffened slightly. She continued to persuade, but you look too tense. Maybe drinking some water will help distract you. With that, she directly brought the cup to my lips. I instinctively raised my hand to push her away, but I didn't expect the camera to pan over at that exact moment. Jiang Fangfang immediately put on an expression of being bullied by me, looking at me with a wronged face. After the award ceremony ended, I made it to the trending list, but in this life, it wasn't because of my coquettish moans, but because I pushed Jiang Fangfang. It wasn't even a big deal to begin with, but someone bought the hype, landing it directly at the top of the trending list. The comments section was filled with all kinds of condemnations against me. Choo Choo is so disrespectful to her assistant. Her acting is quite good. Didn't expect her character to be this bad. Not even famous yet, but already treating her assistant like this. So disgusting, though, to be fair, Choo Choo's assistant is quite good-looking, compared to the cyberbullying in my previous life. These things are nothing to me, but since it was trending at the top of the hot search list, I was called into a meeting at the company the next day, in the conference room. The boss glared at me with a dark expression. Choo Choo, can you tell us what exactly happened last night? I explained the whole sequence of events. Jiang Fangfang immediately apologized to me with a face full of grievance. I'm sorry, Sister Choo Choo, I was just too worried about your condition. That's why I handed you the water to drink. Boss Xiao, please don't blame Sister Choo Choo, it's all my fault. I glanced at Jiang Fangfang out of the corner of my eye. She was staring at Director Xiao with reddened eyes, looking utterly pitiful. Director Xiao's previously darkened expression softened considerably upon seeing her fragile demeanor. Now that this has happened, we must find a solution, he said. Before I could speak, Jiang Fangfang took the lead. How about we go live to explain the situation? It's trending right now, so the live stream is bound to have a huge audience. If Sister Choo Choo gives a proper explanation, she might even gain more followers from this opportunity. During the live stream, let's just recount what happened that day, but this time, Sister Choo Choo can't refuse my water. Just drink it live on stream, and the fans will surely forgive you. Jiang Fangfang wasn't speaking to me at all but to Director Xiao, all while batting her eyes at him. I didn't even have time to say anything. Boss Xiao had already nodded in agreement. It seemed Jiang Fangfang was determined to make me drink this water. Well then, let's wait and see. At 8 p.m., the live broadcast began. Because it was trending on the hot search list, tens of thousands of people flooded into the live stream in an instant. Most of the comments in the bullet chat were insults directed at me. Jiang Fangfang, standing beside me, had already prepared the water and was looking at me with eager eyes. I can't wait to drink it already. As the number of viewers in the live stream kept increasing, Mr. Xiao signaled that I could start, so I smiled and greeted the audience in the live stream. Then I explained the whole story. As she was speaking, Jiang Fangfang directly appeared on camera holding a water cup. Choo Choo sister, let's demonstrate what happened that day. Everyone, please don't misunderstand Choo Choo sister. At that time, I saw she was too nervous, so I wanted to hand her water to help her relax. Choo Choo's sister might not have reacted in time and accidentally touched my hand. I specifically explained during today's live stream, but Sister Choo Choo, you must drink this glass of water today, otherwise the fans might get upset later. I didn't refuse and smiled cheerfully at Jiang Fangfang. Fangfang, I was really too nervous yesterday. At that moment, all my attention was focused on the stage, listening carefully to the host's words, when you suddenly handed me water. I was genuinely startled and that's why I pushed you away, Fangfang. As long as you're not mad at me, that's all that matters. There's no poison in this water, is there? As soon as I said this, Jiang Fangfang's face froze instantly. Before she could explain, I took the cup with both hands. Just kidding, I'll drink it. With that, I downed it in one gulp. After all, I'm professionally trained. Trying to outact me, Jiang Fangfang. You miscalculated, since it was a voice change. Jiang Fangfang didn't linger in the live stream room much longer and excused herself to leave. After seeing her leave, I began to feign physical discomfort, gradually appearing weaker. What's wrong, Sister Choo Choo? A nearby staff member asked with concern. I clutched my throat, casting a pleading look at the staff member, then started gasping for breath as if on the verge of fainting. Choo Choo seems to be unwell. Turn off the live stream now. Boss Xiao ordered the staff to shut down the live stream and immediately called an ambulance to take me to the hospital. I lay weakly on the ambulance, maintaining my frail appearance, although in my previous life, I heard Jiang Xian and Jiang Fangfang say the voice swap could only last 5 minutes. Just to be safe, I waited another half hour before trying to speak. Fortunately, no strange sounds came out. Meanwhile, my phone kept ringing incessantly. It was Jiang Fangfang calling. I didn't answer the call. I didn't know what Jiang Fangfang had put in the water, and I was afraid there might be side effects. So I immediately had my stomach pumped. While resting in the hospital bed after the stomach pumping, Jiang Fangfang and President Xiao came into the ward together. Jiang Fangfang's eyes were red and swollen, and President Xiao's shoulder was soaked through with water. It seems you've been leaning on Mr. Xiao's shoulder, pouring out your grievances for quite a while. Choo Choo, what on earth is going on with you? People online are saying I poisoned you. The police just contacted me. Are you trying to kill me? Can't even handle a few insults. Compared to the abuse I endured in my past life, this is nothing, Jiang Fangfang, this is just the beginning. Who doesn't know how to play the weakling? I burst into tears instantly. The sound of crying drew the attention of doctors and nurses. Jiang Fangfang panicked and grew even angrier, grabbing my shoulders and shaking me violently. What do you mean, Chu, really? I didn't hit or scold you. Crying like this makes it seem like I'm bullying you. I leaned back abruptly, almost fainting. The nurse and doctor quickly rushed over to pull her away, scolding all the while. She just had her stomach pumped and is still weak. How could you treat a patient like this? Are you her assistant, or is she yours? How can someone be so clueless about priorities? Exactly. I think the netizens' guesses were all correct. You assistant. You're up to no good. Several nurses in the ward couldn't help but speak up for me, and some even took out their phones to start recording. Jiang Fangfang panicked instantly, her eyes pleading for help as she looked at President Xiao. But at this moment, Director Xiao clearly didn't dare to say much in front of the camera, pretending to take a phone call as he walked out of the ward. No, I didn't poison her. Chu is faking it. You have to believe me. She's the best at acting, yes. Everything she's doing now is just an act. Don't be fooled by her appearance. I'm actually quite grateful for her recognition of my acting skills. It's just a shame that no one in the ward believed what she said, and the nurse who was filming quickly uploaded the video online. What awaited Jiang Fangfang was a new wave of cyberbullying. As for me, I was eager to see how she would handle it. The next day, my father arrived at the hospital room with his new wife, Jiang Xian. Jiang Xian came to visit me carrying many things, looking as if she felt deeply sorry for me. My mother passed away early, so I was very supportive of my father remarrying. Moreover, Jiang Xian was very kind to me, and in my previous life, I never had any suspicions about her. Jiang Fangfang is only 2 years younger than me. It turned out my father had been cheating on my mother before she passed away. Since fate has given me a chance to be reborn, this time, I will definitely make these 3 scumbags pay the price. In the hospital room, after exchanging some pleasantries, Jiang Xian started giving my father Chu Lin meaningful looks. Then my father took my hand and began to persuade me. Chu, there must be some misunderstanding between you and Fang Fang, right? Fang Fang is such a kind girl. How could she possibly poison you? And she's the daughter of Dad's business partner. Now everyone feels awkward. Why don't you issue a statement to explain? Before I could speak, Jiang Xian beside me also chimed in to persuade. That's right, Chu, he's a very important business partner of your father's, and the 2 families are currently negotiating a major project. If we fall out now, it'll be hard for us to handle the aftermath. Listening to her words, I just found it ridiculous. That so-called big project must be about getting rid of me. My foolish father probably has no idea these 2 are plotting against me, but his affair and betrayal gave my mother depression and drove her to suicide, all because of him, so I'm going to deal with all 3 of them together. I sighed and looked at the 2 of them, my face full of helplessness. Actually, I don't blame Fang Fang either. It was all just netizen speculation, just like when I accidentally bumped into her off stage at the awards ceremony. Wasn't everyone on the hot search bashing me at the time, and it instantly topped the hot search list? You all must have seen it, right? The 2 exchanged glances, seemingly at a loss for what to do. When I was being scolded, they acted as if they were blind, not even offering a single word of concern. Now that Jiang Fangfang is being scolded, they've miraculously regained their sight. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Jiang Fangfang eavesdropping at the door, so I casually remarked. Actually, Fang Fang has quite good looks. I think she has real potential to be a star. Why not take this opportunity to debut directly? After all, any publicity is good publicity. It's such a waste for her to just be my assistant. Didn't you see the comments section when I suddenly topped the trending list before? Quite a few people were praising Fang Fang for being good-looking. That night, Fang Fang had specifically hired a famous makeup artist to do her makeup and wore a formal dress, dressing herself up like a celebrity. So when she was photographed, her delicate appearance did win some people's sympathy. Listening to my words, Jiang Xian seemed to waver as well. He didn't continue persuading me to clarify things for Jiang Fangfang. The 2 of them left after staying in the hospital room for a few minutes. I guess they must have gone to discuss Jiang Fangfang's debut as a celebrity. In my previous life, before my soul dissipated, I heard Jiang Fangfang and Jiang Xin say they wanted to become stars. In this life, I merely went with the flow and mentioned it in passing. This time, the flame of Jiang Fangfang's desire to become a celebrity must be burning even more fiercely in her heart. Then let the storm rage even more violently. The next day, Jiang Fangfang resigned from her job as an assistant. Soon she verified her account on social media and posted many beautiful photos. Most of the comments were criticizing her, afraid she might get upset. I spent a little money to hire some trolls to compliment her looks in the comments. Jiang Fangfang clearly loved it, giving likes to every single one of the trolls I hired. Not long after, I saw Jiang Fangfang in the company, dressed extravagantly. She strutted past me with an assistant carrying her bag, heading straight into Director Zhao's office. Seems like she's found herself a sugar daddy. But Director Zhao's wife is no pushover. The company helped me secure a new drama, which happened to be based on a book by an author I really like, so I threw myself wholeheartedly into familiarizing myself with the script. I just didn't expect to see Jiang Fangfang again during the script reading session with the crew. I checked the cast list, but Jiang Fangfang's name wasn't on it. I took a closer look around and realized the actress originally cast as the second female lead hadn't shown up. There's something to it. Looks like President Xiao has splurged a lot. A newcomer with no achievements at all directly snatched the role of the female lead's rival right from the start. Moreover, it seems Jiang Fangfang isn't professionally trained either, is she? As expected, she didn't even understand what a table read was, sitting there dumbfounded the whole time. It wasn't until her assistant kept reminding her that she finally participated in the reading, during the break. Jiang Fangfang came over to me. Chuchujia, you're not still mad at me, are you? Watching her put on that sweet but fake act, I struggled to hold back my laughter. How could that be? I'm actually quite happy. I always thought you had the potential to be a star. It's such a waste for you to just be my assistant, and the way you just read the script, so immersive, after my string of compliments. Jiang Fangfang could barely suppress the smile tugging at her lips. You must be thirsty. Have some water, you'll need to keep reading later. As I spoke, I handed the water in my hand to Jiang Fangfang. She drank it without any suspicion, exchanged a few pleasantries with me, and then returned to her seat. Seeing that almost everyone had returned, I got up and headed towards the restroom. I clicked into a live stream of an actor from the same production crew. At that moment, she was broadcasting live. This was also approved by the director. As the investment in this drama wasn't substantial, and the director hoped the actors would use various methods to promote the show and attract funding, at that moment, the camera was focused on Jiang Fangfang's position. Jiang Fangfang was currently holding her phone, making a call. Seeing her shy expression, I guessed she must be talking to President Xiao, so I deliberately coughed. In the live stream, Jiang Fangfang also coughed. Her expression showed a subtle change. I'm a bit shocked. I never expected this master's potion to be so eerie. Can it really swap voices? But this time, it's Jiang Fangfang's voice that got swapped. As I spoke loudly, in the live broadcast room, Jiang Fangfang's voice followed. Darling, when are you going to divorce that shrew of yours? You were amazing last night. I want more. If you don't come satisfy me, I might just go find our director later. You have no idea. The director kept staring at me with those creepy eyes. I could practically see his drool about to drip. Ha ha ha. As these words slipped out, the entire meeting room fell silent. All eyes turned in unison toward Jiang Fangfang. Jiang Fangfang was even more stunned, covering her mouth with her hand. Eyes are about to pop out. At this moment, the audience in the live stream was also frantically spamming question marks. What's going on? Who is this woman? So bold. Isn't this Jiang Fangfang? Chu Chu's former assistant, who recorded the screen. Can you send me a copy? As the audience in the live stream kept sharing, the number of viewers grew larger and larger. I originally just wanted to test how miraculous the master's potion was this time. The effect completely exceeded my expectations. When I returned to the meeting room, Jiang Fangfang was covering her mouth and running out. I quickly followed after her, all the way down to the underground parking lot. Jiang Fangfang was crouched on the ground, wailing loudly while crying into the phone. Mom, I think I've been hit by a backlash. I couldn't control myself from spouting nonsense just now. Even though those were my true thoughts, how could I be foolish enough to say them out loud in front of everyone? I'm done for. President Xiao isn't answering my calls anymore. Mom, hurry and ask that master why this is happening. I covered my mouth and snickered. Who would have thought she believed it was backlash? Isn't this like lifting a rock only to drop it on your own foot? Now you finally know how it feels to be humiliated in public, don't you? After the live broadcast incident escalated, the director issued a statement the same day, stating that Jiang Fangfang was not suitable for the series and had already terminated the collaboration. Many people were curious about who Jiang Fangfang had called. Given the revelation of her married status, some netizens began digging deeper. In less than 2 days, President Xiao was uncovered. Mr. Xiao, who had initially held on to a glimmer of hope, immediately issued a statement distancing himself from Jiang Fangfang and even terminated her contract. In less than a week, Jiang Fangfang's account was directly scolded into deletion. I saw Jiang Fangfang again at my father's birthday banquet. He had organized it very grandly today and had even specially invited many young heirs. Looks like they've changed their strategy. If they can't make it into the entertainment industry, they're planning to marry a rich man instead. Too bad, those men seem to be more interested in me. After all, with the halo of a celebrity and having just won a newcomer award, I barely had to lift a finger. Business cards were handed to me non-stop just by standing there. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jiang Xian pull Jiang Fangfang aside to whisper a few words in the corner. Shortly after, Jiang Fangfang began walking toward me. Chu jia. Long time no see. Jiang Fangfang took the initiative to greet me, but her gaze was sizing up the young gentlemen gathered around me. I glanced at her wine glass from the corner of my eye. I felt around inside my bag. The medicine the master gave me was still there. There's still quite a bit of this dose left. It should be enough for 3 people. First, I'll deal with Jiang Fangfang. So while she wasn't paying attention, I sprinkled some of the medicine into her cup. You're looking more and more beautiful lately, Fangfang. Long time no see. I took the initiative to raise my glass, and Jiang Fangfang, unsuspecting, drank it down. You guys chat. I'm going to the restroom. I walked to an unoccupied corner and stared at Jiang Fangfang. Of course, I couldn't miss such a beautiful scene. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed the surveillance camera's position. I happened to be in its blind spot, out of view. I covered my mouth with a wine glass and began to speak. You rich boys, who knows how wild you play behind the scenes, yet here you pretend to be gentlemen. What are you looking at? I'm Chu Lin's own daughter. You filthy men, none of you are worthy of me. These words left everyone around stunned. Standing not far from her, Chu Lin was holding a wine glass when he heard Jiang Fangfang's words, causing him to spit out his drink in shock. He quickly glanced at Jiang Xian beside him, signaling her to go and stop Jiang Fangfang. Seizing the opportunity, I urged Jiang Fangfang to continue speaking. I'm only 2 years younger than Chu Chu. Let me tell you, my dad was already with my mom when Chu Chu's mother was pregnant. Today's birthday banquet is meant to announce my identity as his daughter. Slap. Jiang Xian directly slapped Jiang Fangfang across the face, attempting to calm her down in this manner. Seeing that the drug's effect was about to wear off, I didn't continue speaking. Don't listen to her nonsense, everyone. That's absolutely not true. Chu Lin began to explain anxiously. Seizing the opportunity, I quickly moved to Chu Lin's side, looking at him with confusion in my eyes. Dad, is what she said really true? I just heard Jiang Fangfang call Jiang Xian Mom in the bathroom. I thought I misheard. Tell me the truth. Is Jiang Fangfang the daughter you had with Jiang Xian from your affair? At this moment, Chu Lin's face darkened with anger. No, Chu, please calm down. As he spoke, Chu Lin wanted to pull me away. I can't calm down, I said, forcefully smashing the wine glass onto the ground. All eyes turned to the shattered glass on the floor. I took the opportunity to slip the powder I was holding into my father's glass of wine. After doing this, I turned and left immediately. Chu Lin naturally wouldn't chase after me. Someone as concerned with face as him would definitely find a way to smooth things over. And right now, I couldn't find a better opportunity. I can only take a gamble, to see if he will drink that glass of wine. I stood outside the window waiting for quite a while. Chu Lin kept explaining to the guests. After all, he was the birthday boy, and everyone, out of courtesy, played along without exposing him. nodding in agreement one by one. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Chu Lin finally picked up that glass of wine. By then, Jiang Xian had already had the driver take Jiang Fangfang away and was walking toward Chu Lin. I quickly began swapping voices with Chu Lin. I was just playing around with Jiang Xian, to be honest. For successful people like us, there are plenty of women out there. Jiang Xian is old and ugly. I'm planning to dump her soon anyway, but her daughter, now she's quite the fresh young thing. If any of you have ideas about her, I can have someone send her to a hotel right away. Hearing these words, Jiang Xian completely lost it. She swung her handbag and smashed it hard against Chu Lin's head. Chu Lin, you bastard, she's your own daughter. Are you even human? If you dare give her away, I'll kill you. I checked the time. The drug's effect hadn't worn off yet. At that moment, Chu Lin was staring at her in complete bewilderment, seems completely unaware of what she just said. How can you be sure she's my biological daughter? When we were having an affair, you had a boyfriend. Who knows if she's even mine? You want to kill me too, trying to drive me to death like you did with my wife back then. As soon as these words were spoken, the 5-minute mark had just been reached. Silently, I picked up my phone and started recording the video of Chu Lin and Jiang Xian wrestling with each other. Such a precious video. I must treasure it carefully. I should also make a backup and burn it for my mom to see. Taking advantage of the chaos, I obtained the surveillance footage from the restaurant, directly hired internet trolls to post it online. With my name attached, it quickly became a trending topic, causing the Chu family's stocks to plummet. My fan count skyrocketed. The Chu family's bankruptcy has nothing to do with me. After mom passed away, my father took over the entire company. The company was built from scratch by my parents. Now I don't want to give any advantage to Jiang Xian and her daughter. Better to destroy it than let others reap the benefits. My fans felt sorry for me and launched online campaigns against the trio. Some hackers even attacked the Chu group's homepage, directly photoshopping the three's pictures into black and white portraits and hanging them there. I remained silent until the public attention was about to fade, then finally posted a lengthy response. I condemned my father's infidelity, recounted how my mother suffered before her death, and ultimately announced the severance of my father-daughter relationship with Chu Lin. The message was sent. Chu Lin quickly contacted me. He kept calling and texting me, explaining that his mother's death had nothing to do with him. He claimed it was just a momentary lapse in judgment and that he now saw the true colors of Jiang Xian and her mother. Vowing to divorce Jiang Xian, I couldn't be bothered to respond. I immediately booked a ticket to the Maldives for 3 days later. After handling pending matters, I planned to go abroad for a change of scenery. At night, the master called me, saying Jiang Xian and Jiang Fangfang went to his place and threatened him. So he had no choice but to give me up. He told me to quickly find a place to hide because the two might come looking for trouble with me. This master sure is efficient when it comes to getting paid for his services. At least you knew to tell me. But as soon as he hung up, my doorbell rang. I guessed it was probably Jiang Xian and her mother. I quickly notified the security guards in the neighborhood to come up and escort them away. Then I asked the company to send a few bodyguards to ensure my safety. Bang, bang, bang. The door was banging loudly as the two of them rammed against it. Feeling scared, I decided to start a live stream. Soon, my fans flooded into the live broadcast room. Seeing my panicked expression, they all grew concerned and asked what was happening. I pointed the camera at the door while explaining, "It seems like Jiang Xian and Jiang Fangfang are outside. They keep banging on my door. If anything happens to me, everyone must help me call the police." After a while, the banging on the door stopped, likely because the security guards had arrived. At first, the two were still arguing about something, but they left only after hearing that the police would be called. The incident escalated once again. Jiang Fangfang and Jiang Xian were doxxed, with their addresses and phone numbers being exposed. I lay at home sipping red wine while scrolling through online news about the two of them. In the comments section, I saw people sending funeral wreaths to their current residents and writing words like "homewrecker" in red paint on the walls. I was quite satisfied. I was merely using the same methods they had employed against me in my previous life. Now I also really want to see how they will face online bullying in this lifetime. Airport, I carried my luggage and prepared to board the plane. Not seeing any news about them these past few days feels a bit unusual. Just as I was feeling somewhat disappointed, a news alert popped up on my phone. 3 people fell from a building in Jiangbei residential area, 2 dead and 1 seriously injured. Jiangbei residential area, that was exactly where Jiang Xian and her mother lived. I quickly clicked on the news and saw the name I had been longing for on the details page, finally breaking into a smile. The 3 who fell from the building were Chu Lin, Jiang Xian, and Jiang Fangfang. Chu Lin and Jiang Xian died on the spot, while Jiang Fangfang was still undergoing emergency treatment. I let out a long sigh of relief and boarded the plane. When the plane was flying high in the sky, I made a wish. 3 hours later, the plane landed. I rubbed my eyes and refreshed the news on my phone. Breaking news: Jiang Fangfang passed away after failed resuscitation attempts. I stretched lazily and clasped my hands together toward the window, thanking the heavens, because the wish I made on the plane came true. Now, it's time to fulfill my vow. I think it must have been my late mother in heaven who made it happen for me. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.